Hey there, Sagittarius, Sun, Sagittarius, Moon, Sagittarius, Rising. It's Maggie from Moon Directed. Welcome to my channel. Here we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move our life forward in the most positive way possible. Lots to get to. We're going to do the monthly reading, which is for the sign of Sagittarius. So happy birthday to you, Sagittarius. So that is November 22nd to December 20th for Sagittarius season. And then we'll do the weekly portion. I did channel some information for you, so hang in there. We'll get to that first. Right after I take a moment to thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments, for helping me to grow my channel. I want to encourage you, please, to take a moment right now and hit that thumbs up button. Yes, it helps me grow my channel, which is important to me. But more importantly, I think for you, it helps with an energy exchange. You are connecting to me. So people who comment on my videos, people who hit that thumbs up, people who have had readings from me, my energy is more strongly attached to yours, and you're more likely to have readings that resonate when I do these. So I really would like to encourage you to create that opportunity for connection. So this month I was down the rabbit hole about numerology again. I'm always fascinated by numerology anyway. So I decided to check out the numerology of your sun sign, which for Sagittarius, right? And so you have a 9. And a 9 is the ending of a cycle. And I thought that's funny because even though it's not the end of the zodiac cycle, it is the end of the calendar cycle. I was like, that's funny that it falls like that. Okay, so it's ending of a cycle. So, So the thing I've noticed is for most of the signs that what their numerology comes up as, that it's kind of what you're striving for, the direction in which you're heading. And so I feel like you spend your incarnation working toward completing a cycle of something, a karmic cycle that you have carried forward, so that you can aim for the stars, so that you can ascend, so that you have all that innate wisdom, and I think you're here to use it to help yourself work through the next level. So it's kind of interesting. All right, so I did channel for all the signs, and what I got for you was, I actually saw an armored knight in shining armor, right? Sitting on a steed. It was also armored up. You were at the top of a ridge. Kind of like there was a mountainous pass behind you. You were on that path, right? A ridge on the path on the mountain. And you were looking down into the valley below. There was a nice trail ahead of you. It wasn't too steep, but your flag was fluttering in the wind, and you were anticipating the next leg of the journey. And so that's what I saw. And I think with the sun shining on you, and you bringing in on all this attracting energy in, and Jupiter is about expansion, and it rules your sign, and we're coming up on this eclipse season coming up after your sign. I do think that there is a wrapping up of things in the beginning of a new journey, and we just coming out of Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio, and so let's just see where it takes us for the month. But I feel like you're preparing for the next steps, is what it kind of felt like. So your overall energy for the month is you got the sacred temple. And this is the part where you realize that you are divine and sovereign light spark of God, and so maybe the next step is really stepping into your own power and divinity as a co-creator of your experience here, and growth in your soul. And so I'm kind of curious to see what we get here, because that's such an interesting combination. So if you've never seen this before, this is past, present, future, thoughts, feelings, actions, and the center card is the key to the situation, how to manage it, what you take from it, where you go. And for you, you have, okay, so we have dark thoughts. So the ending of a cycle, right, to move toward this stepping into your superpower of understanding and believing and knowing deep in your heart that you are a divine spark of God. And so when these dark thoughts come up, the negative little voices in your head that say, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or, you know, those tapes that run around in our head that have no business being there, and yet we all have them, right? We do. Excuse me, I have to. We all go through this. But the ability to release it and let it go, and to take the dark and turn it over to the light. That's what Scorpio season's been about. And so wrapping up that process so that you can take the next leg in your journey. So in the recent past, information came in, you discovered something of value. Something came to you and you're like, that is a nugget of information that's very valuable to me. So a transformation will take place when you find peace with a situation, when you can release these dark thoughts and you can transform a situation out of the dark into the light. Wow, I haven't seen this one before. It's the healing light. This feels so spiritually orchestrated this month for you. Kind of looks like Temperance card, the number 14 in the tarot that represents Sagittarius. And also, oh look, he's like holding this up. Like, I've discovered something that seems to be of value. And here it's so much bigger. It's the healing light. And so maybe what you have discovered is this healing light that brings you the peace that allows you to transform these dark thoughts. In the past, you've been struggling with things being in status quo, doubts and fear maybe that it's always going to be like this, like the status quo, getting trapped in that, oh, I want to move things forward attitude, but I really can't seem to get anything going. Well, Mercury's been in retrograde, and that's been slowing things down, and there's been a bunch of other things this year, and so it has been like the slog through the waist-deep mud for most people. But look at this. In the heart space, you're on the increase. You're on the increase. So yeah, I believe that you have discovered something that seems bright and shiny, but I think as it transforms, you're going to realize just how important and massive this was. And I feel like it's on your spiritual journey. Oh, another one I've never seen before. Hidden motivations. Okay, so this is an obstacle. And so the reason it would be an obstacle is because you may have doubted, why did someone bring you this information? What were they trying to do? Why were things like this? Why were they? What were they? You know, it's that whole, I don't understand what you're doing. And the hidden motivations, if you dwell too much in them, they can create a stagnancy, because you're like, well, I don't know if I could trust that information. I don't know. Why would you tell me that? And if you spend too much time going over and over and over it, then it makes it hard to move forward. Sometimes the obstacle is that there was a hidden motivation and you didn't notice it, and it presented itself in a way that created an obstacle. So, friends and colleagues. This is a celebration. This is getting together. This is community. So the action to take at this time would be to connect with people. So this is also networking, because this is friends and colleagues. It's not family. So this isn't holiday season activity. This is more of, if you've been really busy and you've pulled away from things because you've been dealing with personal issues or whatever, in order to promote, in order to create, in order to move things forward in your life, and with the sun shining on you, it should be really easy to do this right now, would be to network. If you think about somebody, send them a text message. If you have a chance to catch up with somebody and have coffee and talk about things, take that extra minute to reestablish any relationships. These are the friends and colleagues relationships, right? So they're not the inner circle necessarily, but they're the network that expands, that brings in opportunities to you. If you think of it kind of like the pebble into the pond, You know, it's not the inner circle, but it is in a significant circle that helps spread the waves out further. So if you're trying to grow a business, for instance, then, you know, this is really important. If you are in a business of sales, you know, who you're connecting with helps expand that. Remember, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? Oh, because you have a creative endeavor. A creative endeavor that really speaks to your soul, that's authentically you. This nugget here is helping you to realize who you are, what it is you came. It feels like soul purpose work. It's something that really speaks to the heart, a creative endeavor that requires networking for you to get this thing launched and off the ground. These dark thoughts that you're having sitting here in the center is really the most negative card on here. This one, hidden motivations, could be, you know, good or bad. This card right here, this tells me that the worst, your biggest enemy is you. You're blocking the flow of abundance with self-doubt, questions, you know, is this really valuable? Am I really valuable? Whatever the negative thought process is, that's what needs to be overcome to get this thing off the ground, whatever this thing is this month. It's not only about being right. Ooh. In all tests of character, when two viewpoints are pitted against each other, in the final analysis, the thing that will strike you the most is not who is right or wrong, strong or weak, wise or foolish, but who went to the greater length in considering the other's perspective. So maybe this friends and colleague thing is about being able to have a conversation about something you don't agree on. Now that Mercury's finally going direct, that will be good. We have what you give will come back. This is not hanging on so tightly to everything energy. And it's really interesting because it says here, okay, I will read it. This is not the first time it's shown up today. I'm trying to remember who else got it. Leo, maybe? Yes, Leo. When in doubt, give. Let them have it. Surrender. Make peace. Then it says again, when there is no doubt, give. Let them have it. Surrender. Make peace. So if there's doubt, give. Surrender. Let them have peace. If you don't doubt, even though you know you're right, remember, even if you know you're right, it's not only about being right. It's about being willing to give, let them have it, surrender to make the peace. It's about being able to make the concessions, being able to negotiate. That's part of this networking process here. And what's really interesting is when we get to the weekly, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is surrender, release, peace. And it says give, let them have it, surrender, make peace. It's the same things. And you have more options than you realize. So there's not just one path to get there. And so being like stuck on being right, like this is the only way to do it, this is the best way forward, this is the only thing that's going to work, you're not negotiating. You're not compromising. You're not doing the kinds of things that builds the kinds of relationships that move things forward, right? It sure is hard to get really angry at someone when you can think of all the reasons you love them. So focus on the love. If this is a family situation or something like that, it feels like work because we have friends and colleagues here. But remember that these are people you like, that you respect, that you work with, that you have relationships with. And so this creative idea, maybe you guys don't see it the same way, but to get it off the ground, there might take some give and take. You might have to release some of the control. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I'm trying to think really hard right now of a Scorpio that doesn't like, I'm a Scorpio, a Sagittarius that doesn't like to have a lot of control. And I haven't come up with one in my head yet, but I'm working on it. Hold on. Oh, I just thought of someone. Okay. But mostly no. So being willing to allow mistakes to be made because there are opportunities for growth and information and knowledge, and not having to be right. Okay, so maybe you're right, but they might be right too, and maybe their way is better, maybe it's not. But be gracious when they say to you, "Oh my gosh, you were right. That's the way to do it." Because Sagittarius, generally speaking, you know, like you just know things. You do. Okay, I'm not saying that you're wrong because you're probably not. But being right doesn't build networks. Being right to the point where you have to be right, where I'm right, I need everybody to accept that I know everything, decreases the connections between friends and colleagues. It makes the other people feel diminished. And so being willing to give and to be supportive of their ideas and to allow the creative flow of the give and take is sometimes what is required. Oh, look, you have soulmates. So these are people who are here to teach you lessons, or you're here to teach them lessons. You are here to work together. Now, soulmates can be a romantic relationship. Obviously, it can, but I'm not seeing that here. What I am seeing is the soul family that you agreed to come here with, to work with, to create something. And we are getting to that point in time where we are stepping into our soul purposes. Like the planet is elevating, and we're releasing the negative karma, and we're setting ourselves free to raise the vibration. And so we're coming here to do things with our soul family and allowing them to be a participant in the decision making, and the creative process seems to be really important in this month. Okay, so seize opportunities courageously. Find new ways of solving problems, right? To let other people have input too. Oh, and then transformation, we have the swan. Demonstrate grace and majesty. Okay, demonstrate grace and majesty. When they say to you, hey, so you were right, say, oh, well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And then drop it. Don't say, well, of course I am. I don't know why you argued with me in the first place. You want to use this as an opportunity this month to strengthen the ties with your friends and colleagues, to strengthen your network, not create risk around it. It feels like the strength of your network allows this creative project to get off the ground. So what can you do to strengthen that network? All right. So interesting week ahead. Interesting for a number of reasons. So we start out with the moon, getting into Leo at the beginning of the week. And when that happens, then that puts that moon in a square, which is a very tense, it's a sharp right turn kind of energy, right? It's a 90-degree angle with Mercury in Scorpio. And so communication can be very tense, and especially since you seem to have this colleague thing going on, communication can be very tense. And so watch out for the disaster pit that could be happening right at the beginning of the week. So I hope you're listening to this early before you step into it, right? Because Mercury's still in retrograde. It doesn't go direct until Wednesday. And so there's still this great opportunity to really misunderstand and miscommunicate, to misreceive information. So the squaring is very difficult. And then on Tuesday, the moon comes into a square with Scorpio, in the sun in Scorpio. And so now we've got the light of the moon and the light of the sun both pointed at this vertex, right? This one area, but they're in this really difficult angle. And so while things are being revealed, the information that is coming to light could be incredibly uncomfortable, very tense. I just thought of our political situation here in the United States, and that's funny. Okay, so information coming to light, going to be tense, going to require some gentleness, right? Some gentleness. And so just try to be aware of that energy right there. And on Tuesday, we've got Mars moving into Scorpio. So it's been kind of, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that, hanging out in Libra, which has been, all that indecision, while Mercury's been in retrograde, is really like messed with the whole, like this has been a messy retrograde as far as dealing with stuff from your past and trying to figure out what to let go of and what to keep and all that stuff. Well, now we've got this forward motion. We've got Mercury going direct on Wednesday. On Tuesday, we've got Mars getting into Scorpio. And so now finally things are going to start like clearing up and figuring out which way to go. There'll be some direction. And look at you. Look at you. Discernment of the King of Swords and victory. Choosing your words carefully, not needing to be right, being willing to compromise, being willing to allow that you can still win the hurdles by knocking a few of them down when you go over it, although it's harder. Everybody else has to be really bad for that to work. But still, you're going to get there. You're going to come across the line victoriously. This is going to be a really great week for getting information and being able to move a project forward. It's just going to take compromising. It's going to take grace. It's going to take allowing other people to maintain their own sense of dignity and self-respect. And on Monday and Tuesday, people are going to be like, yeah, okay, well, you did this before, but what have you done lately? You may have to defend your reputation. You may have to defend some things you've done. Like that energy is in the air. And so, being willing to stand up for yourself, yes, absolutely. Be honest and defend yourself, but do it with dignity and grace where it's not tearing other people down in order to build yourself up. And you have, the Sunshine Yellow Dragon. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you can see just how cute this card is. Look at that. It's hugging on a little fawn. Helps you to help animals. Serve animals, heal, respect, and understand them. All right. Here's what I'm thinking. You might need on Monday. You just might need a comfort animal. So when you get home, spend some time with your pets, relax. The energy of everything has emotion, right? And so there's like this counterclockwise motion to our chakras. So we have this energy flow that kind of goes like this. And cats' energy moves in the other direction. Oh, wait. We have clockwise. They have counterclockwise. I was doing it, but I couldn't see it. All right. So their energy moves in the other direction. When you hang out with cats, that's why it's so calming. Unless you're scared of a cat. Their energy field is moving in the other direction. It actually helps go play with your dog. If you're really stressed out, go by the pound and volunteer there. Do something kind to animals on Monday and Tuesday. All right, so Tuesday night, 8:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon moves into Virgo. There's going to be this need to kind of get down into your finances. Do you need to reallocate some of them? Do you need to assess what you need or don't need? So there are finances, and if it's a project, it might be at work detailing out the finances of this project, right? And so understand that during this process, you are going to be safe and you are going to be protected if you are listening to your inner guidance. And there's going to be some resistance that needs to be pushed through. Running the hurdles is definitely resistance that needs to be pushed through. You have to, leap through the air in perfect timing. Oh, this is really nice. Okay, so, and Mercury is direct on Wednesday. So on Tuesday, it's kind of like slowed super down, and then it comes to like the stationary point, and then it starts moving, direct on Wednesday. They might call it station direct on Wednesday, but it's like it has to stop before it can change directions. So there's a little pause in the action. It's not going to speed up, okay? We have like 2 weeks to get out of the shadow. And what the shadow is that when Mercury is moving in one direction, and then it stops, and it turns around and it goes back, that's retrograde, and then it stops. That'll be on Wednesday, and then it starts moving forward again. It's going to cover the same ground it's already covered before it gets to where it stopped the first time, and that's when we call out of the shadow, and I think that's like the 8th or something like that. So really going over some stuff, and so we're not out of the woods yet, but at least we're moving in the right direction. So you have faced your financial fears, but obstacles and blocks are being lifted, and so I feel like if this is we could be at home or it could be at work, but if there's a financial situation, spending the time looking at it will help you to figure it out, and we have it safe for you to receive. So I feel like if you open up your hands to the universe and say, I am open to receiving the abundance of the universe, then you will receive the abundance of the universe. But if you're worried and you're tight-fisted and you're hanging on for dear life to, what your resources are, then you can't receive other resources. So being willing to be open and then here we go. We have the surrender, release, and peace happening here, right? So the moon is going to get into Libra at 11:20 p.m. on Thursday night. And Thursday, by the way, lots of energy to be highly productive. So kind of plan for that if you can. And so now the moon's in Virgo, and then at 10:59 a.m., happy birthday to Sagittarius. The sun gets there. 10:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. Adjust for your time zone. And then it's Sagittarius time. And so if you can do this work of releasing and surrendering to the divine and to the way things are happening on Friday, you can really set yourself up nicely for your birthday month. Because when you release, there's a sense of peace that comes in with it. On Friday and Saturday, be really great for wrapping up projects that you already kind of have going on right now, getting some stuff done. On 12:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. on Saturday, the moon is going to get into Scorpio. So you have listened and the answers will be revealed. Listening to your higher self, yes. I feel like this is listening to your friends and your colleagues, being willing to work together. That's how you're going to win this week. That's how you win the week. But listen to your innate self, too. You're not wrong. You're usually not wrong. You just don't have to say that. Okay. Sunday, that moon is in Scorpio. Oh my gosh. There's going to be a situation, more than likely, for many, many people. Depends on your whole chart and who you're involved with, but the energy is available to create a situation where everything feels like it's out of control. And there will be this tendency, because we still have, you know, that we got that moon in Scorpio, and so it wants to hide their emotions and it wants to internalize it. And the better way through this energy to create the peace and the sense of peace would be to find a creative solution. So either working with others, or at least, you know, not just releasing the anger and looking for a solution. Releasing the upset. The best way to feel in control is to actually come up with a solution, right? So you have positive energy. Surround yourself with positive people, situations, and avoid negativity and worthiness. Know that you deserve to receive good in all ways. Open yourself up to receiving. It is safe for you to receive. You are worthy. Your positive attitude, your ability to listen, to work with others, to be discerning, not judgmental, but discerning, leads to victory this week. Looks really good. Really does. All right, Sagittarius. Let's get you a gemstone card for the month. I always laugh when I say a card because it's rarely a card. Sometimes it happens. You just never know. But we're in the gemstone deck, right? Crystal Intentions, I believe it is. Okay, ooh. You have two. You have Green Aventurine. It is easy for me to maintain overall well-being with conscious health habits. This one was kind of wanted to show itself. It wasn't the big one out the gate, right? So paying attention to your health. Okay, so Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is all about expansion, and we're coming up on the holiday season when there's lots of really good things out there to eat that rarely seem to show up. So maybe paying attention to your health habits will make you feel better heading into the new year, okay? And then you have Ruby. Vital life force flows vibrantly through me. I am grateful for my energetic passion for life. So if you have been feeling a little sluggish like most of us, not only was Mercury in retrograde and in Scorpio, and the sun was in Scorpio, which is this deep diving, this going in and everything. And that was also in your 12th house. So really, we're like, I think I can get through this mud, maybe, kind of all month long energy. And now the sun is shining on you. The sun is in your house. And so there should be an increase in energy coming to you just from that. And then Mercury is going direct, and that helps too. So some good positive energy moving forward, and you'll be like, I'm sailing over the hurdles now. All right, Sagittarius, I will talk to you soon. Have a great birthday month. Come back next week for the weekly, or I'll see you next month. You take care.